But this is what happens when you get into a new Pathfinder game. You have to get your voice blocks all used up. An imposing young Ored is surrounded by a crowd of Crusaders who are hanging on to her every word. I hope this example clearly illustrates the difference between Jester legionnaires from the Last War and the Crusaders. The perfection of form and spirit they were imbued with during creation turned them into parts of a well-balanced war machine, not a ragtag bunch of individuals, but a united whole. Now tell me again when I'm supposed to be impressed by your reckless assaults, where everyone is fighting for their ego and the right to beat their peers to a swift but pointless heroic sacrifice. Some of the Crusaders grumble unhappily, but it is clear that they are captivated by the woman's words. The only exception is a scraggly and disheveled halfling monk, whose puffy black eye gives him away as a brawler and a troublemaker. He enthusiastically pushes forward and tries to engage, but one of his friends swiftly jabs him in the back with an elbow, making the poor fellow pause to catch his breath. Looks like we've got ourselves a stint of warfare. The woman gives you a suspicious look and raises an eyebrow. Were your words meant to recognize my achievements, or start a fight the way Mendevian Crusaders usually do? One of the Crusaders angrily curls his fist tightly and retorts with a burst of passion. If those gists of yours, or whatever, had come for us, we'd have their guts for garters. You think we've never fought a mighty adversary before? The soldier's stern facade cannot fully conceal his relish. He clearly plans to enjoy this confrontation. The Crusaders around him look upon their exotic opponent with a mixture of irritation and piqued interest. You're watching me on two different PCs? Hey, look at that. That's how you be. See, you're being big brain there, dude. The woman chuckled before cutting off her interlocutor. What the fuck? Okay. I would love to see you storm a 60-foot tall walking castle shaped like a gigantic elephant that carries siege fortifications on its back. And I'll have you know, these fortifications were defended by Jistakan priest craftsmen, armed with demon-bound war machines. They used the enemies you cannot defeat as mindless weapons. The woman gives the people around you her triumphant look and adjusts her hair with a pointed monocle. Her voice takes on a lecturer's tone. You should not argue with someone who happens to be the most authoritative researcher on the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Abelsam. The woman looks at you and flashes an amused smile. The lecture is over. Do my esteemed listeners have any questions? Who are you? I am Indara, a warrior magus, and scholar of classical warfare from Garund. The woman peers at you apprehensively, then sighs. I admit I am mildly offended by the fact that my name is entirely unfamiliar to you, but I am willing to accept that this is due to Avistan's isolation from the sophisticated culture of the world at large. The funny shit pin your disc back, hang on. You've come a long way to be here. I'd like to think of myself as an inhabitant of Galarian, and I don't narrowly identify with any country in particular. Why did you come here? To win this legendary war, the confrontation between denizens of a plane famous for its love of violence, and the Crusaders from every continent united by a common goal of defending their home. An epic struggle with colossal proportions that hasn't been particularly epic so far, truth be told. The monk with a black eye grins and mutters under his breath. Maybe she can't see it from here. The view will get way more epic if she stops hiding among us and takes a walk outside. The woman smirked contemplatively? What the fuck? She doesn't... I don't know why I'm suddenly fucking up words. What do you mean? Got work brain? Got one brain, it's on Joe's the smartest thing your brain can handle alone? She doesn't deem the monk's words worthy of comment. I don't want to comment on that. Hardly surprising, I presented my take on this war in a clear and strict succulent manner. There's nothing to argue about. Why didn't you join the Crusaders and show them how fighting should be done? No. I'm a historian, an analyst, a theorist. Do you know what these three words have in common? They describe a mortal who does not participate in the conflict upon which her thesis will be founded. But then again, I will hardly be able to describe this mess as anything other than a feeble likeness of the Last War of Jester. The monk with a damaged eye grins slyly and comments, the more dangerous the upcoming scuffle is, the more motivated we are to find clever and pretty words to justify not actually doing the fighting. What is this last war you mentioned? The Last War of Jester, of course, the large-scale conflict that took place 3,000 years before the foundation of Abelsam. It was a war against Arisian pharaoh of forgotten plagues. The war that ended the legendary Jester Imperium, an epic struggle, became the most vibrant page in military history. Alas, all conflicts that followed it were but a pale shadow, including the one I am witnessing here. What do you mean gibberish isn't a language? My words slowing. Am I fucking up the speaking? Is that the problem? Why do you find the Last War of Jester so inspiring? Imagine legions of golems imbued with extraplanar spirits marching into battle. Imagine flying cities that swoop out of the clouds like terrifying monstrous birds of prey to drop forces on top of enemy castles. Picture gigantic mechanisms powered by captive and very angry demons and devils. Imagine standing in the warpath of walking citadels or having to cover your ears to block out the sound of cannons loaded with shrieking elements. And thank you for the stretch, posture, and hydrate, Jamie. I'm all out of drink at this point. Redeem Bully Joe 426. Looks like. Sorry about that. Finally, imagine the ultimate weapon that offended Jester, the deadly night plague. This affliction was an attack dog, a trained epidemic, a tamed pestilence, striking only those who its masters wanted to kill. Imagine all those terrors, and understand that no fight of fancy can come close to the horrors of the nightmares that they made real. I know you need more shit to redeem your points, but there's just nothing. I can't think of anything good to put there. How do you know so much about Jester's Last War? I can say without false modesty that there is no more authoritative researcher on Golarion when it comes to the history of warfare 3,000 years before the foundation of Abelsam. I've dedicated my whole life to its subject. I've personally visited all battlefields, studied the most mysterious and forbidden archives containing chronicles of ancient war, and sometimes risking my life in the process. I saw a fallen city of the Shuri Empire with my own eyes. I ripped out the control crystals from the exterminated class combat golem. I guarded Jester laboratory with my own hands. These fingers held the glass flask that the servants of the Pharaoh of Forgotten Plagues used to create the first generation of pestilence that devastated the Jester Imperium. How do I know so much? I saw and touched everything I am telling you about. You're wrong to treat the Crusaders with such disdain. Allow me to explain. A debate, I will be very happy to prove the current conflict can't hold a candle to the Last War of Jester. Very well, the Last War of Jester was waged using a significantly greater number of troops. Both sides actively relied on reinforcement from allied planes, and their strategic planning was prepared through no fewer than 7 rounds of intensive design. None of the above applies to this war of yours. Compared to Jester, we are but stone club wielding kobolds. I would like to conclude my thesis with a few words of wise counsel from Dagon, an advisor of the Pharaoh of the Forgotten Plagues. I doubt you will comprehend the true genius of his statement, but here it is nevertheless. A gadfly sees the ox pays no heed to the gadfly, but the crimson fervour takes them both. How about nah, I'm alright, I don't want to drown. That second one, I'm definitely never doing ASMR, fuck that. The principles of war are always the same. Actually, no, we'll do diplomacy. The events of the past are shrouded in legend, but the fate of the world is being decided here and now. This is what you failed to grasp. And we failed. Said he, standing in the middle of a dingy tavern. Indara graciously accepts the chuckling of her audience. One mustn't overestimate the importance of current events for world history. Should Kenabres fall, it will become yet another page in the chronicles of the Worldwound conflict. Should it endure, it will be fortunate enough to earn a many mention at all. The monk with a black eye stifles a giggle and looks like he wants to say something, but ultimately holds himself back. The principles of war are always the same. Weapons, causes, and resources may change, but the foundations remain immutable. Wow, we're really sucking right now. Then why don't we study tactics by watching a couple of rock-wielding goblins fight over a dead rat? Indara's sarcastic words produce bursts of laughter from the audience. I think he has something to add. The halfling perks up, takes a deep breath, and bellows dramatically. Oh, enough! I was patient with you, so-called expert. But I've got something to say. Firstly, screw you for disrespecting us. And we are doing our best because of some dusty old books. Secondly, I heard the tale of the epic wars of old, in next Tyanzia and everywhere. And each time they claimed it was slaughter no future war could hold a candle to. So say the old farts, where the honest soldiers like us get ready for the next battle, because we need to go out there and fight. So later we too can say our war was the most legendary of all, to a young whippersnapper who won't be nearly as good as we were. Thirdly, you claim to know war, but do you really? You can wag your tongue, but can you actually fight? Or will we be listening to an empty chatterbox that's read a few books, but hasn't even been in a brawl? You can enter a barbershop and run into a dozen experts. Show us what you're worth, so we can be sure there is something to respect. The tiefling starts feistily rolling up his sleeves. I'm not doing that. You can fuck off. Indara is slightly taken back and looks at the monk with obvious displeasure. I'm not going to compete with you in brutishness. Look for another pugilist if you wish to have symmetry with your face restored. The warrior woman raises her chin and coldly gazes at the crowd of crusaders cheering and whooping for the monk. It looks like you're holding a scholarly debate in a god's-forsaken tavern was a mistake. Have you changed your mind about joining the Crusaders? I don't see the point. You Crusaders appear to be quite confident in your skills, if nothing else. You presented your arguments to me with extreme confidence. Indra unbuckles her sword belt and hands you the weapon. This is the worthy blade. It will be of use not only for the strong, but also for the wise. And this is where I bid you farewell. Before the end of the day, I was planning to observe how the winged demons use pack tactics to drive their prey like herds of livestock. It's about time I go back to my research. The hint of a smile graces Indara's lips when she sees disappointment in the eyes of many Crusaders around her. Stay safe. The monk nudges you with an elbow, his friendly jab perhaps harder than intended due to his enthusiasm. Get another egghead full of theory but not much sense. To understand war, you need to live it, take part in it, not gawk at it from the library. The monk takes off a pair of plate gauntlets and hands them to you. If you ever see this chatterbox sling muck at the Crusaders again, use this to smack her across the face and tell her I said hi. I like this dude. This dude's a legend. That woman was a bit of a bitch, but he's a legend. So what's this? Dashing Cavalier gloves. Aha! So he's an eldritch scoundrel. So he is actually a... this is our little monk. Oh, no, I got rid of all the daggers. He already has a masterwork dagger, so it's okay. But yeah, he's a tiefling, chaotic neutral. Interesting to say the least. Attack rolls, damage roll, natural. Attacks unnatural. So... unarmed attacks and natural weapons. We don't have anyone who can do that yet, so that's not really going to help. The braces of righteous exorcist braces. I'm gonna give that to Lan for now. Oh no, he already has braces. You already have braces of +2 armor. Camille, for now we'll give you the braces. What are you doing? Give me 1 second. What the fuck are you doing? It's Camellia, actually. Right, go to my fucking chat on my phone because I don't want to tab out. Shit. Okay, so I'm going to go grab a drink anyway. So I'm going to tab out for a moment and we're going to go to the intermission screen. Huh, I don't see anything. Weird. But I'm going to be right back, guys. I'm just going to go grab myself a drink. Jamie, don't do anything, you know, do what you want. But I'll be right back. You may have done a prediction, Jamie, but you should know by now, predictions aren't... You could just do a poll instead of a prediction. Trust you not even to do the right one, eh? Right. Okay, I think we've given out all the gear. Oh, apart from the goggles. A +2 damage against swarms. You know what? We'll wear those. They look really cool. Also, that should be our main weapon set. There we go. So let's level up our companions. You just do /pole, Jamie. So we're going to keep him as a Zen Archer. Okay, deadly aim. Choose to take a -1 penalty on all ranged attack roll and gain +2 bonus on all damage rolls. Oh, I like that. That's definitely going to be good for him. Point blank master with a longbow, definitely. Nice easy level up right there.
I will see this through.
Also, I've just remembered we have a composite longbow for him, or a masterwork longbow. Composite longbow, he does a lot more damage. I hope that falls under it. Let's level up our Paladin Sila. Nerd goggles. Yeah, we'll give her a good amount of religion. I'm going to give her weapon-focused glaive, because she's got a really cool glaive, and I don't know why, but I kind of like the idea of having a reach paladin as well. And we'll give her Mercy Shaken. So we've got Mercy Fatigued and Mercy Shaken now.
Together we stand.
Camellia? Or Camellia? So what do you get at this level? Apparently nothing. You don't really get anything. You do get a feat. She's not really perceptive, but yeah, she's not really... perception isn't one of her skills, so it's not really something she needs to worry about. If there's any way of making her better at her ability to steal, that's definitely something we should give her. Deceitful. Yeah, it gives her better at persuasion and trickery skill checks. And there we go. She gets all these new spells as well. So she just gets spells. So that's... Okay, she works pretty simply. She's not a fighter. So currently in the party we have our warrior monk, our warrior of the Holy Light Paladin, an eldritch scoundrel rogue. We have a Zen Archer monk. We have a straight up paladin, and we have a shaman spirit hunter.
No, just no.
I gave her those, yeah, yeah, there we go. Okay, I think we've got one more person to talk to. No, we've got two more. Hylor and Sila. So we'll talk to Hylor first. A tall man greets you. His hair is prematurely grey and shorn close to his head in a military style. He is lean and well groomed, and a monocle twinkles coldly in his eye. The bold set of his jaw and his large but agile frame attest that he is a man who is already ready to be on the move. Greetings, I am Hylor, Adventure Captain of the Pathfinder Society. I am a superior officer among Pathfinders in this region of Mendev. However, the Society is running almost no operations here right now. Besides me, there are almost no Pathfinders here. Actually, I'm the only one. I'm only stuck here because of an old feud with a demon worshipper known as the Spiner of Nightmares. I've had to work alone without the support of the Society. But I made a lot of acquaintances among the local mercenaries and daring fighters. If you need any good fighters for an honest cause, talk to me. Tell me about your confrontation with the Spinner of Nightmares. It all began with a task for the Pathfinder Society. I arrived in Nerosan with my team to investigate the sudden death of a famous Crusader, Baron Falron. We soon focused in on a small hospital for the wealthy, where Falron was being treated shortly before his death. It turned out that a gang of Baphomet's cultists, calling themselves Labyrinth of Mind, had gotten a foothold in the hospital. They were obsessed with twisting the minds of their victims and targeted fragile poor people too weak to resist. The hospital was filled with perfect victims, isolated for weeks from the outside world, completely helpless. And when they returned, they were different, almost normal. But the moment they heard a certain phrase, something dark woke in their mind, and they transformed into servants of Baphomet, ready to lie, betray, and even kill. Labyrinth of Mind, preparing to infiltrate all of the elite circles in Mendev, but Baron Falron stopped them. He was too loyal to his oath, and too resistant to their spells. He fought for his freedom until the strain broke his heart. We opened up and cleared the city of Baphomet's pit vipers. Their den was a cradle of sin and filth. They cast spells on each other, and their loathsome fantasies stepped real from their minds into the world. They dreamt of horrible and forbidden things, but they fought like mad. We burned the place to the ground, slaughtered everyone we could, but the leaders of the cult were able to flee, and they were set upon revenge. They abducted my daughter Luri, who served under my command in the Pathfinder Society. They left me a note full of tart insults, mockery, and sneers. From that note, I learned the name of my enemy, the Spinner of Nightmares. And a few months later, I confirmed that she was the leader of the Labyrinth of Mind. My hunt had begun. I would get my Luri back at any cost. He grit his teeth with a bulldog's determination. Want to know more about you? What exactly are you interested in? I'm a common Pathfinder. There are many others like me. Fate and my orders brought me to this land. How'd you end up here? I was working in a summon for the Pathfinder hunt, and then a demon worshipper named the Spinner of Nightmares abducted my daughter Lori. For the past 3 years, I've been trying to save her. During this time, I've become a specialist in scouting demon territory. I even planted agents among the cultists. Truth be told, pursuing the Spinner of Nightmares, I've been acting more on behalf of the Queen Gallifrey than the Pathfinder Society. It's a long story. Maybe I'll tell you in the rest of it sometime. Hylor frowns grimly. The Spinner of Nightmares is a true spawn of the Abyss. I've fought her many times, but I've never been able to seize her by the throat. Tell me about your daughter. Hylor smiled, showing his healthy white teeth. As a girl, Lori was just an angel. We lost her mother early on, so she set out to follow my example. A drifter with little idea how to talk to a 10-year-old girl. But even with such questionable parenting, Lori managed to grow into a wonderful girl. Brave, smart, beautiful, and entirely unbearable. She always argued with me about everything. When Laurie was 18 and told me she was going to be a Pathfinder, all I said was, alright. I knew there was no use trying to talk her out of it, and she was a Pathfinder. Hylor's fist clenched with a painful sounding crack, and I never forgive the spinner of Nemus for taking my girl from me. Does Laurie drive a lorry? Cape Noctum. Tell me about a Pathfinder Society. A Pathfinder Society is a global organization that unites opportunists and adventurers of all kinds. We explore the world and uncover its secrets, travel and sometimes face down threats. In times of trouble, the latter becomes our primary focus. We're driven by curiosity and the desire to make the world a better place, and of course, seek some profit for hunger hunger. Fuck! Some seek profit or hunger for glory. But in my case, it's hard work. They might send you anywhere on a mission. Weaklings have little place in the society. It's more for seasoned fighters. There are society lodges in many cities. The closest one is Nirasan. They're each led by venture captains like lads like me. The Grand Lodge is Nabelsum, in the center of the world. The Decumvirate sits there, the anonymous council of our leaders. I have no more questions. My companions and I need good training. I'll get a great amount from Abelson. For the first few times, I'll train you free of charge. So we basically retrain our stuff there. Am I having a stroke? Yeah, probably yeah. Okay, we've got one last person to talk. There's loot. Gimme. Don't care, gimme. Sila smiles at you warmly. Hey there! During our march through the dungeon, we never got the chance to exchange a proper greeting. It's time I shake your hand. Irabeth said your friend Jan Aldur is missing. Do you know where we should look for her? Irabeth's worried about her fighters, I understand that. I wanted to look for Jana myself, so I didn't distract you. But since you're in this too, I could use some help. Joe and I met in Kenabres a few days ago and hit it off. We went drinking together. We went to that unforgettable celebration together, too. We got separated in the crowd, so we should start looking for her in the main square. That's where I last saw her. Sila frowns. Jana's a good fighter, even if she's green. She could never become an Aldori otherwise. I hope that means she's alright. Apparently I'm having one, yeah, definitely. I'd like to know more about you. Of course, ask anything. I'll answer honestly. Tell me about yourself. Where are you from? I'm a little bit from Geb, a little bit from Ketapesh, but mostly from the Knights of Maimide. I was accepted and began my training at 14. I belong to their ranks more than I belong to any other place. My mic's clicking a bit. How is it now? Is my mic, guys, chat? Anyone is my mic's having problems? Anyone want to tell me? I don't know. It's fine for me. For me, it's fine. Jamie, just refresh it. It should be fine. That should be it. I can put my headset back in. I don't know what to say, Jamie. I'd say just refresh your browser and see if that helps. You've come to Mendev by a long road, haven't you? A very long one. Sila looks at you cheerfully. A traveller is expected to have amusing stories. Unfortunately, I've only 3 tales of any interest, and I'd like to save them for our next feast. Otherwise, I won't have anything to show for myself when it's time to start bragging. And that just won't do, especially since I'll win the night with my cautionary tale of a battle with chupacabras. Isn't your attitude towards life and war too carefree, especially for a paladin? Was that a hint of reproach? If you're only just asking, then no, I don't think so. You have to know when it's time for a joke and when it's time to take mourning to the right take time for mourning, the right moment for joys, and for sermons, and sometimes a good traveling story can be all those. If it entertains and purifies the soul, the story is about the Kenabres is one of the good ones. Picture a small town in Cadria, and down in the dungeons there, 2 murderers waiting to be executed. The gallows are already built for them, the ropes already been bought. One minute, let me read this and I'll figure it out. But sometimes life takes a surprising turn. Suddenly a paladin of higher media appears on the doorstep and offers the murderers a deal. If they go with you to fight some monsters, they live. If they don't, if they survive, that is. I can't really do anything if, like... I don't know, like... What do you mean by a crackling sound? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, there is. Is it alright now? No, don't be sorry. Yeah, it's still crackling. Why the fuck is it doing that? Puh. It shouldn't pop at all. That's not popping. That's something's wrong with it. Right, let's quickly just tab out a minute. Don't know what to do. Shit. So, is it still like just keep me updated? If is it still doing it? What's it doing? You know, just keep telling me. I shouldn't be having any issue. Like I don't understand what's going on. Okay, is that better? It shouldn't be popping anymore, at least. Ah, fuck's sake. I don't understand what's going on. You don't hear it for now? No, there it is. I don't understand what the fuck's doing. It should be doing that. I don't know, but I'm just going to keep going for now, because there's nothing I could do about it. I can't, like, without fucking all of the stream up, I can't do anything, and I have no intention of fucking the stream up right now. Like, if my mic shouldn't be doing that full stop, I don't know what's wrong. Oh, it's pissed me off a little bit. Just let me know if it gets what. Let me know if it gets unbearable or really bad, alright? There's a big difference between imminent death and probable death with a glimmer of hope, and wouldn't you say? So here we are, travelling through the desert, me and my friend, the priestess of Serenray, along with the little rat folk fellow who'd asked for our help, and the 2 cutthroats. We got to the rat folk village and saw their bodies lying around. A bit drained, all drained dry. We figured we'd have to fight vampires. That's how little rat folk described the monsters who attacked their village. That's why we were all that's why we went in all brazen like. The sun was high and the vampires couldn't attack until dusk. Jesus? What do you mean Jesus, Bob? What's up, Bob? Why don't you just say Jesus and then say nothing, Bob? Come on, what's up? When? What do you mean the loud crack in the mic? Explain. I can't fix it if you don't explain better than that. Also, Jamie, how long ago did you find it? So why did you say Jesus just now then, dude? Like, you've got it, you can't... Well, it doesn't matter. We never got a chance to look around. Black shadows, quick as the wind, attacked us from all sides. Not vampires, but chupacabras. One of the lads we pulled from the gallows got killed right away. The second one ran for his life. Then left me. That left me, the rat folk, and Kyra. That was the name of the priestess. And we all steeled ourselves for the fight of our lives. Before you started again, there was a whoosh of cracking before it stopped. After you came back from the break, you noticed. And just when we thought the end had come, with the chupacabra surrounding us like surrounding me like a pack around a bear, and our radfolk friend wounded and down, and the teeth of the quickest of those blasted mongrels was clenched on Kyra's shoulder. Right then, when all hope was lost, the other lad from the gallows suddenly comes running back. He kills the beast attacking Kyra. I'm sure you know what a turning point in a fight looks like. Well, this was it. A moment before we were lost, and a moment later we had it back under control. The chupacabras dropped dead one by one. Little radfolk is reunited with his family, and who were hiding in the basement. The priestess and I closed the eyes of the boy from the gallows who saved us. It was a shame he didn't survive the fight. May the gods keep his soul. And still on its journey through the afterlife. After I went for a break, my mic started cracking. What the fuck? That's weird. That's a good story. He could have died in disgrace on the gallows, but instead he died a hero. I'd fancy the stunt earned him some points at his final judgment. It's smart to remember our journey doesn't end in death. Had it not been for that mercy, Milos, that was his name, would be hanging from a noose, and me and Kyra and all the rat folk would be dead in that village. Someone told me that a kind deed done by an unkind person is 100 times more precious. By the same token, an evil deed done by a noble soul is 100 times more horrifying. That's what I really wanted to say. The chupacabras were just a good starting point. What made you become a paladin of our meeting? Sila's gaze sharpens momentarily and she sighs. That's a serious question and a good one. You should ask if it's good of your companions, but it's a long story. To start with, 12 years ago I was nothing like the person I am now. I roamed the streets of Solku with the other homeless orphans. I stole, I fought, I was hired sword for a bit. Not the proper origins for a paladin, is it? Back then, Solku was a city of orphans, widows and widowers. Gnolls decimated the city regularly. My parents were among their victims. People there heard about new deaths before they finished mourning their previous losses. One day, a group of knights of Enamede brought a glimmer of hope to the city, while others saw them as saviors and protectors. I was busy pricing up noble horses and gleaming mithril armor, wondering just how much of the city. It's skipping my voice, isn't it? My voice is skipping. Weird. Just how much of the pretty swords would fetch. A thief lives one day at a time. That's what they said. I was a type that never fought past the next job. Skipping. Yeah, it's skipping. Why? Weird. Okay, give me 2 moments, guys. Okay. How's that sounding now, guys? Sound good? Not bad? What we going with? Better? Wait, it's not better, it's the game. How does it sound now? Let's have a look. Okay, wait. Okay, I think I figured it out. Nope, no I haven't. What the fuck? So it's not... I actually don't know what's going on. That is annoying. Google can't help me. Like, Google doesn't help in these situations. Like, something's happened to my audio for some reason. No, I'd rather you point it out, Jamie, because it's good to know. But to be honest, now it's pissed me off. If it ever gets too bad, just let me know. Anyhow, I was able to sneak into the knight's camp and steal one of the mithril helms. Sila pauses, her voice sad and measured. And I was right there when the gnoll attacked the helm's owner. Akimi was her name, and she dealt a blow to her unprotected head. A gnoll like all those others, she'd fearlessly driven from the gates of Sulkul. That one blow was fatal. But who was really to blame for her death? The gnoll attacker, or the young thief named Sila? Even a seemingly small misdeed can have terrible consequences. Yes, you're right 1,000 times over. I hate to say it, but I just didn't see it back then. And if I'd never got that lesson, my eyes would probably never have been opened. Who knows what would have happened to me if it wasn't for Akimi and her bravery, and her death. Maybe the world would know Sila as a bandit, not as a kind and protector, not as a knight and protector of those in need. There's a saying I like to remember. People rarely find redemption on their own. Someone must show them the way. But you're asking about what brought me into the ranks of Iamedia's warriors. We all chose the Paladin's path for our own reasons. Some are guided by nobility of spirit, some by desire to fight for injustice. I became who I am through penance and a debt unpaid. The dear Kimi died protecting my city. I wanted to kill myself for the terrible guilt I felt. But then I realized it wouldn't make the world any better, and I decided that instead I'd try to take her place. I'd become who she had been, and protect the innocents that she would no longer be able to protect. When Deskari attacked Kenabres, everything seemed to be lost, but the first person I met after the capture was you, my sister in faith. I believe that is a sign from me that Iamedia watches over us. I hope that's true. Although, to be honest, our mentors used to warn us against being too eager to see messages from the goddess in every little thing. Being devout is all well and good, but you've got to rely on your own head. Thank you, I've learned everything I wanted to know. So what is it? Is it still doing it, guys? Let's just give me some feedback. Is the mic still a problem? If it's still a problem, we'll do a quick restart of the game and see if that'll stop it.